Hey guys, welcome to the AOStation. This is Tom here, and we're going to be doing another episode of HoN Theorycraft. This time we're going to be going over the new hero that was released, or will be released next Friday, called Bramble. And here's a little write-up I have on TheAoStation.com of all her abilities, as well as some items that I would suggest for her to use. And we're going to talk about how to use her abilities, or at least how I think her abilities should be used, and what items you should pick up on her. I just want to remind you that I haven't played the hero. This is all theory crafting. This is nothing to do with actual experience. This is just me looking at her items. Looking at her abilities and predicting what will be good for her. So let's go straight into it. Her first ability is Spore Breath. It's basically just like Belphegor's Spit, except it has an additional stun at the end. Her second ability is Ensnaring Shrubbery. It's a shield buff that slows nearby enemies surrounding the target, and additionally, any hero damage that the target suffers will heal nearby allies for a percentage of the damage taken. So basically, it negates damage. It doesn't necessarily negates damage. It heals back some of the damage dealt, as well as healing everybody in the area. So that's a good buff. Combat Vigor is her third ability, and it's a aura, and it passively gives movement speed. Well, it's a passive aura that actively gives movement speed anytime that you or a nearby ally attacks an enemy unit. And I don't want to, I understand that, every idea has been done under the sun, but I made a hero named Rose very similar to this, or at least has a ability very similar to this in the HoN Dream website, and I'll link to that, but, whatever. Basically, it's the same skill, but it's very interesting nonetheless. And her ultimate is Entangling Vine Wall, which summons a line of vines, and they attack and slow nearby enemies, and they also block collision. So she's also a strength hero, by the way. I forgot to mention that initially, but she's a strength hero. So you'll want to play her as sort of the initiator / strength support caster. And I wanted to go through some of the items that I think would be good on her first, and then we can go into like what role she would then fulfill. As a tank, or not a tank, but as a strength melee initiator support character, I would obviously suggest Helm of the Black Legion. And Mystic Vestments if you're going up against a team with a lot of magic damage. I wouldn't suggest going up to Headdress, but that's because I never suggest going up to Headdress. If you're really taking a lot of magic damage, you want to get Shrunken Head rather than Headdress, in my opinion. Frostfield Plate seems like a good character pickup for this character, considering that she's a strength caster. She has a lot of casting abilities, but she's also going to be needing the armor, so it'll give her the intelligence she needs to cast her spells and the armor she needs, as well as a bonus buff and AoE nuke. Steam Boots seems like a good pickup for her, considering that she already gets the movement speed buff from her passive and the movement speed slow from her shield, so she won't necessarily need the phasing that most heroes need. And I think the bonus strength or the bonus intelligence, whichever one you swap to, will benefit her in the long run. Power Supply is another one of those items that you should always kind of pick up. Obviously, it's based on what you think is necessary. If you're going up against a lane that's going to be spamming a lot, you'll want to get Power Supply over something like Blood Chalice. But since she is a strength caster, Blood Chalice might be a good pickup on her. Mock of Brilliance is kind of one of those joke pickups. But if you have enough farm, you might as well get it in a lot of instances, especially if you're up against a team full of characters with Portal Key, because the damage that it passively deals will cancel their Portal Keys. But once again, that's only if you have a ton of farm, so I wouldn't necessarily consider you farming for it, but if you accidentally end up with 5,000 gold, you might as well. Barbed Armor is another one of those items, that if you're a strength melee initiator, you're probably going to want to pick up, especially if you're already farmed. It'll help increase your DPS. So you might want to pick that up. Nullstone is another one of those great strength caster items, especially if you want to be casting a lot of spells and you need that int bonus. And it'll give you that spell block for the next incoming spell that is really beneficial in team fights, especially for initiating. And Behemoth's Heart is my last pick. Just a general strength item. If you have a lot of gold and you need to be a lot more tanky, pick up Behemoth's Heart. It'll help you out in the long run. Although it doesn't necessarily help you towards being a better caster, it'll help you survive longer, so you'll be able to cast more. It makes sense. Now let's go back to some of her abilities and like how to use them generally. Obviously, you want to use Spore Breath to chase people. It slows damages over time and stuns at the end. So you want to be timing it so that the stun happens at an important moment. Ensnaring Shrubbery sounds like a pretty basic buff. Just toss it on somebody. You can toss it on yourself to initiate fights. If you're taking all the damage, it'll heal everybody around you as well as mitigate some of that damage. And you can also, obviously toss it on allies to be more of a support character, but that all depends on the situation and how you want to play the character. Combat Vigor is just a really good basic passive for all situations. Everybody wants to be moving faster, and everybody attacks. So, obviously, when you attack, you move faster. It's a good pickup regardless. I can't see anybody getting stats over this because it seems like such a good item. Then Entangling Vine Wall, pretty basic. You just want to be blocking people off. You want to be using it to chase. You want to be using it just like people use Empath's Wall. You want to just, block as much as possible while also causing as much damage as possible. Although damage isn't the primary part of this skill, it's, you want to be using it as an initiating tool, as a CC ability. And I think it will fulfill that perfectly. What else is there really anything else to say? Not a whole lot, except that ensnaring Shrubbery and Barbed Armor is going to be a really fun combination, because it'll deal the damage back while also mitigating it a little bit by healing you and healing nearby allies. So that'll help you a lot. Frostfield Plate and Ensnaring Shrubbery will help, because it'll have that slow aura from the Ensnaring Shrubbery as well as the slow debuff from Frostfield Plate. There's really not much else to say. She's a basic hero. I think she'll be interesting. I don't specifically like her as much as I liked, say, Riftwalker or some of the other heroes that came out recently, but she's a solid hero. There's nothing really I can point out about her that's bad. It's just uninteresting to me. So we'll see how she plays when she comes out soon. Next Friday. There we go. Next Friday. And yeah, that's pretty much, this is all just speculation. If you guys want to leave in the comments of this video what you guys think, because I might have missed something. I noticed that in my last video I missed a ton of stuff that I could have said about Riftwalker, but I think I covered it all for Bramble. And that's pretty much it. Oh, by the way, the TheAoStation podcast is delayed. I totally forgot that it was Monday yesterday, so we'll probably be releasing it tonight, which is Tuesday, and we might even be changing the schedule around for the long term, considering that it's now summer and I don't have to deal with the school schedule anymore. So that's pretty much it, guys. I will be back soon, hopefully. I will see you later. Bye.